Welcome to the Wealth Transfer with TC. Today I'm going to give you guys an update on the wealth transfer. I'm going to give you some thoughts about where I think that we are at in this whole process. I'm also going to touch on the financial markets, and I'm also going to discuss some of the prophetic related to the wealth transfer and what I've been seeing in 2024. First, before I get started, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing information, giving you my thoughts and my opinions on that information. And if you guys like these videos that I make, the support links are down below in the description and also in the comment section of this video. Today is May the 7th, and the Bitcoin halving was just 3.5 weeks ago. One of the things that I saw, not just in the worldly realm of the crypto space, but also as far as in the prophetic, that there were some failures. And it was nobody that I really discussed on this channel, but it was things that I was seeing posted in other groups. You know, I think that a lot of times when we have these big events, and it doesn't matter how much you tell people, you know, it could be a buy the rumor, sell the news event, people will still pump it up and then have these expectations, and they fail. And that goes for the world, or the cryptocurrency community, and people within the wealth transfer community, and they listen to these people who pumped up the month of April and said, God said, and things didn't happen quite the way they thought. Now, Bitcoin did reach its all-time high in March, but as far as April, it didn't happen. And I just think that people were just prophesying in their own flesh as far as, you know, wanting to see Bitcoin take off around the halving, even though I shared with you guys a rooted and grounded scenario for the Bitcoin halving. And on average, the Bitcoin bull run doesn't even start till 9 months after the halving. And then you look at other factors that are involved with everything that's going on with cryptocurrency right now. You know, you see the SEC going after all these different people, and it just seems like there's a lot of stagnation. And so a lot of people have been wrong, whether it's their predictions or the prophecies. And I shared with you guys that along with the Bitcoin ETF and the halving, rooted and grounded scenarios, and some of those scenarios played out. And the other thing is, you saw Bitcoin break its all-time high, but you didn't see really any other coins breaking their all-time high. Right? It only benefited those people who actually invested in Bitcoin. And I did share with you guys back in March of 2023 to start buying Bitcoin. You know, and you could use that money for, you know, getting other cryptocurrencies. Now, 2024 is a make or break year for many prophecies, a lot of things that are supposed to take place this year, whether it's people still giving dates or even with people that we know, that we trust. And, you know, some of those prophecies we should start to see manifest here this year. You know, and just watch out for people moving their goalpost, you know, when it comes to the prophetic, and because it's very important about who you listen to. In 2024, there are people that are still listening to people who falsely prophesy a whole lot, and then they get that stuff mixed in with people who are telling you the truth. This, I feel, led to talk about, and it deals with numerology. And just beware of getting into numerology like people get into astrology. Right? I feel impressed to share this because what has taken place, especially within the wealth transfer, and I know we see like different numbers like 777, 1111, and all these things, but I think there is a point where people are taking it too far. You see that people that make a lot of predictions based off of numerology, 9 out of 10 times they are wrong. And what happens is that when you follow these people, what they do is they have all these predictions, or they're doing all this numerology stuff and connecting all this stuff, and then it doesn't happen, and then they have a new date and a new time frame. And sometimes that time frame is, oh, what's going to happen in 3 months? And then if something does major happen in 3 months, then they're like, oh, I made this prediction and it came true, right? But you don't look at the past. You know, there are some people that have years of using numerology, and you can go back and look at all the different times that they were wrong. And people are using numerology to actually create false prophecies too as well. You know, and this is the thing about the wealth transfer. We know that the world talks about a wealth transfer, right? And it has happened and it's occurred, you know, multiple times. And we are in that wealth transfer, right? We are trying to partake in that wealth transfer. Right? And then you have God's wealth transfer and what God wants us to do with those funds to prepare for this last great pour out of God's Spirit in ministry in evangelism. God is taking care of us and our family and our ministries. And what he has done is he's showing us what is going to happen, right? It's just like the Bitcoin flash crash, right? It happened before where Bitcoin went down to zero. And so he's showing us an event that's going to happen. He's just showing us how we can take advantage of it, right? So there are different wealth transfer events that we are waiting on. And then also the way that the world looks at the wealth transfer, we are also waiting on that too. Right? You can just type in wealth transfer and it doesn't have anything to do with God. You'll see many YouTubers talking about the wealth transfer and where the markets are going and everything, and it doesn't have anything to do with God. And I do believe that, whatever is going to take place, we're going to have the seed money to be able to start the whole entire process, right? You can't transfer trillions of dollars out of all the other markets and bring that wealth to Christians all around the world without having that seed money. And I've shared with you guys before that, like the crypto market is only $2.4 trillion. And then you have other markets that are 30, 40, 50, 60 trillion dollars. And you're not going to bring that wealth just through cryptocurrency. It's going to be a process. And we're going to be moving from money from place to place and preparing ourselves for what is supposed to take place. If the markets are going to crash, then we need to prepare. Everybody's different. You might need to start stocking up, right? We see what's going on with the war and how it could escalate. And before you know it, there's going to be people that are going to wake up and they'll be like, man, I need to start stocking up. And a lot of people are going to be doing it at once. But you need to start being prepared for that. The Dow Jones is currently at $38,864. Bitcoin is at 62,935. So let's just say 63,000. I wanted to share and where I think everything is going, flash crash and all that, whether or not if the markets are going to go up or down. And I've shared with you before that I'm just holding and waiting. I'm just waiting right now. And I'm not stressed out about trying to figure out what's going to happen next because God really hasn't made it all that plain and clear. If I knew out of every prophecy that I've studied where the markets are going to go, because of all the different prophetic dreams and mostly from the people that we trust, we don't really know for sure. And I shared with you guys, it could go all the way to 300,000 or from here, it could go all the way down to zero and then run up to 300,000 or whatever the case. But either way, just be prepared and follow your plan. If you're just buying certain cryptos, follow that plan. But right now, I'm just in a place where I'm just really kind of relaxing from, everything that was happening and taking place. And I'm not focused on, trying to get the next meme coin and all that stuff because most of the time, folks, that stuff doesn't work out. And there's a lot of people that are taking advantage of other people, especially within the wealth transfer when it comes to introducing new coins. All right. And I can get into that's a whole nother video and I could break things down for you. But it just, everybody's trying to pump a new coin. Everybody's trying to get in the next Pepe or the next Shiba Inu or whatever the case. All the money in the crypto markets are being spread out. And a lot of that money is being spread out, with rug pulls and coins that aren't going to go anywhere. And, over the last couple months, almost every single YouTuber that I listen to is just pumping a new coin like every other day. And it's not normal. So it seems like, some of these YouTubers are even kind of desperate with the way that the markets are going because it's not looking exactly the way they want. They seem to be pushing coins that just don't seem like they're going to be going anywhere at all whatsoever. And we don't do that here on this channel where we just spit out new coins. We've talked about new coins, but we're not sitting here every other day talking about getting into all the different meme coins and all the different blockchains and all that. You got Solana, you got Base, and I'm not getting into all that. One thing that I have to realize is that the way that I speak is for everybody in the wealth transfer all at once. And I've said that a lot of the things we talk about here is the wealth transfer together. Anything extra, if you want to chase meme coins, you can do that. You could do that in some of the other wealth transfer groups, or you can do that in just, other groups that are outside of that, right? There are plenty of people that do that, and I'm not going to get into that. You do that long enough, you're going to end up running into a meme coin that's going to end up draining your wallet. So where there is no vision, the people perish. Proverbs 29:18. I heard another YouTuber talking about this. And God has given us a vision. And that vision is of the wealth transfer. The wealth transfer and the global currency reset and all that goes back to 2009 when I first got into talking about the global currency reset and the things to come. And all the things that we're expecting to happen now, we were expecting to happen, at any moment back then. So we've been in this thing for a long time. But, even when it comes to the crypto and some of the other things, God gave a handful of people the original vision of the wealth transfer. And then you have a number of people who maybe have given one or two or three dreams. And some of those that have shaped the wealth transfer don't make videos, and they have their dreams or visions on forums or whatever. That some of them we've talked about on this channel. And then so over the last couple of years, we've had a lot of new people come in. Everybody was prophesying Shiba Inu was going to be pennies on the dollar, and everybody was prophesying that Shiba Inu was going to take off, and they're saying it's going to happen by this date and all this, and then everything went flat, because we had all these new people that all they were doing was just piggybacking off of other prophets who already made prophecies already, and they were trying to put a timing on it. And one of the reasons why they do that is because they want people to pay attention to them. They want to draw a crowd towards them. And that's one of the reasons why God can't trust certain people who operate in the prophetic, because why would God give away any dates with certain things if he didn't want the enemy to come in and mess it all up? If you feel like God gave you a date and you told that date and it didn't happen, God tested you that you can't hold his secrets, because why would he let the enemy know on YouTube, and out of everybody in the wealth transfer, you were the one chosen to give the date? So that's why we have to be careful, because a lot of these people are giving instructions. God gave Moses and the people instructions to get out of Egypt all the way into the promised land. Even though Moses didn't go into the promised land, he was mostly instrumental in that 40 to 45 year period. And so that's what God has given us as instructions, and where we're going to be moving from investment to investment, and from fiat to gold to silver to, other different areas of the market and so on. And we're at a point right now, from what I see, the wealth transfer does need seed money. And a lot of prophets and stuff don't get it. And that's why they make mistakes when they're prophesying, because in the crypto markets, it's only 2.4 trillion market cap for the crypto markets. And you have other markets that are 10 trillion, 20 trillion, 50 trillion, 100 trillion. There's no way you're going to transfer the wealth of the wicked just in crypto. That's not going to happen. So there's going to be a process. There's going to be steps. And you can't transfer trillions of dollars without the seed money to do it. Now, the Dow's sitting at 38,864. You have the Federal Reserve. They just had their meeting and they didn't lift the interest rates. But one of the things they are talking about in the future, the Fed president said next move likely to lower rates, but timing uncertain. So they're not telling you, well, we're heading into an election year. They can only lower the interest rates 3 more times before the elections. So we're a little bit less than 6 months away from the election. And in September is when people can actually start early voting. So I look at these Fed meetings and I'm like, how are they going to get the markets to move? Everything is stagnated, right? We know that crypto stagnated because they're persecuting cryptocurrency right now, going after everyone. But there's only 3 more times they can raise the interest rates. So we got 1 more meeting left in June. And for people to really start to see the effects, they're going to have to do something. But they may not even care, folks. They may not care that the economy is suffering. They're just banking on a lot of people voting a certain way on certain issues and get everybody politically riled up while the economy is completely falling apart. So it all remains to be seen. There's some people who have prophesied that there's going to be at least 1 interest rate during the spring. And so we only got 1 meeting left, and then it's going to be raised 3 times total for the whole year. And I've heard several people talk about this. And everybody's affected right now. I mean, just the way inflation is, and I'm really surprised that we're not really seeing a lot of people really started getting angry. And, they're trying to throw us all this stuff with entertainment. And they try to throw all these things at us with the sports. And they try to throw all these things at us with all these riots and protesting and so forth, keeping all this chaos going. All right, now again, Bitcoin sitting around 63,000, Ethereum around 3,000. When it comes to the crypto markets, I just shared with you folks that I'm just waiting to see what happens, that I'm prepared no matter where Bitcoin goes, no matter where the crypto markets go. I believe that that I'm in a good enough position, and also being prepared for any type of flash crashes. I'm prepared all the way. And so one of the things that I'm doing right now is I'm not as focused on the crypto markets as far as stocking up on more coins, because I'm starting to see something when it comes to, what's going on outside this world, like, the conflicts that Russia and Israel and things just kind of seem to keep heating up. And so I really need to start preparing myself just in case things happen. I mean, right now you have, the IDF, they're going after targets in Rafah. So this could escalate. I mean, folks, what's really going on, the things that they're not showing us, some of the things that I'm seeing that you may only see on Twitter, some of the videos, the death and destruction that is going on over there. And also not only that, but in Ukraine and in Russia, it's just absolutely insane. And it's just a matter of time before, things escalate. And, if they think DJT is going to win, don't think that they wouldn't try to pull some type of national emergency so there wouldn't be a vote. And there's a couple prophecies dealing with Poland and Russia that I'm going to get into that I've talked about previously that I shared with you guys. Look out for that video. So many people didn't see what they wanted to see when it came to the Bitcoin halving. I'm just glad that I just was able to give a rooted and grounded scenario. And it's just for myself too, because then I'm not setting myself up for expectations. I believe that there's some other ETFs in other countries that were taking off. Also, too, the SEC has a decision to make in the next couple of weeks relating to Ethereum ETFs. And right now we have the SEC and going after all these different companies. And I told you guys the SEC was quiet, and look out for what they're going to try to do to try to keep the markets down. And it's up to the cryptocurrency community to put the pressure on this administration to get that guy out of there. And we have to do our part too. So that they see how upset people are getting. Here pretty soon, you're probably going to see really making it a huge issue for this election, because there is 52 million, if not more, crypto users here in the United States. And what people outside the United States don't understand, what the SEC is doing affects the entire world. The reason why crypto isn't going as far as it should have over the last year is because of Gary Gensler and the SEC and this administration. So if you are outside the United States, what the United States does with crypto affects you. So you have to make your voice known on social media too as well. Now, gold is sitting at $2,311. Silver is at $27.25. And I think that when it comes to the precious metals, I'm not really focusing on that very much. I think there's going to come a time when it will go up. But keep in mind, folks, here in the United States at least, there's a currency war going on right now. And America is the number one target. And just because gold goes up to 10,000, but you've lost half of your purchasing power, okay, so there's going to be a trade-off. Now, people in other countries, it's going to benefit them, to see gold go up higher and higher and higher. But if you're expecting gold at 10,000 and nothing to be going wrong with our currency here in the United States, right now, when I look at what was going on at inflation's peak, when gas was like $6 a gallon, right? And there were foods that were double or triple. That's 100, 200, 300%. There are things that I used to buy that have doubled in price. So inflation in a lot of areas, yes, it has come down, but there's still different items. Well, that one's 50% more than what it used to be. That one's 100% more than what it used to be, or 200% more. And you just overall trying to get your car fixed, trying to do certain things just to live is just super expensive right now. And I don't see how this administration is going to turn all this around. At some point, God is going to do something with gold, and there will be signals for us to buy in, whether you're buying physical and paper gold. And just be aware that if you do buy physical gold, you're going to need to go to a place that's going to be able to trade in your gold, and they're going to give you the cash or however they do the transaction, because I personally think that it's going to be difficult for a lot of people to exchange gold when it does skyrocket. When you go to these places to exchange your gold, they don't have to take in your gold. And right now, if you guys saw this article that just came out, at 2 million per minute, treasuries mint cash like never before. So right now, think about it, folks. They are printing $2 million per minute. Where is that money going? What's happening with that? We know a lot of it's going overseas, but we know it's not going to refurbish this nation, to rebuild inner cities. We know that it's not being used to just build communities in general. Our infrastructure altogether, you got bridges and stuff that are falling apart. You got potholes everywhere. The educational system is in shambles, right? You got crime out of control. And it's only going to get worse, folks. And that's why God has shown us and given us the vision and the instructions. Some people are going to have to move from where they are at. I'm telling you this now, if I lived in Chicago and I know all the things that are going to be happening, I would get the heck out of Chicago. I don't even need God to tell me to get out of Chicago. But, of course, you're not going to make a move like that without consulting God. But there are some videos out there that people have prophesied. God is saying you may need to move from your city. Pray about it, for the things that are about to happen. If our country is going to be really struggling for like a year and a half, really hard, as if it was a Great Depression, we all need to be prepared for that. And look at Argentina. Inflation hit Argentina, launches new top banknote worth just $10. They just launched a 10,000 peso. Right? Now you got that one new president, JVR, I don't even know how to say his name, but the new president that all the conservatives like, or I guess they do. But I guess he converted over to Judaism and all this stuff, and he was at the Wailing Wall, but he's trying to put in all these economic reforms. If you look at the peso, just over the last 5 years, it went to about a peak of 2.5 cents all the way down to 0.001. It could get worse. This is part of the global currency reset. Are they going to reset all the currencies? You have what's going on with the BRIC nations, right? That's very scary for a lot of people because they're targeting the United States. That's why our economy here in the United States is so important. And, there used to be this whole slogan, made in America. Well, everything is made outside the United States. And most of the people that are making stuff for us don't like us. And that's why some people try hard to buy things that are going to help the United States. And the whole thing with BRICS, and then you have the Iraqi Dinar, and we know we have the signals and clues when it comes to the Iraqi Dinar. I'm not going to keep sharing them. They're in the past videos. But, you have this nonsense going on in the Iraqi Dinar community. But I do have a video coming dealing with my King Yeshia's Dinar prophecy, and I break it down line by line. And, a lot of people are not going to like it, but it tells the truth. You can't deny what's being said, the evidence that is being presented on whether or not if this is a true prophecy from God. And what was the purpose and what did it do? Because a lot of people sold their dinar based off of that prophecy because they thought that it wasn't going to take off, even though there have been people that have been involved in this for a very long time. And there are hundreds of dreams over the years. None of those dreams before ever showed some of the things that are people that are trying to say right now. So you have to be careful of some of those people because you have a lot of people trying to get in to the wealth transfer. They want to be the face of the wealth transfer. They want to be the one to say, oh, God is talking to you about the wealth transfer. You have a lot of people that are like that because there's money involved, right? It doesn't have anything to do with anything outside of the wealth transfer. They just know that, that there are people spending money and they can be blessed instead of trying to build their ministry the normal way, the biblical way. I mean, some of these people, the way that they speak, it's like the lady in the book of Acts with the divination spirit. And you have these people surrounding certain people. And people don't understand that. If I'm friends with a prophet and I say, you know what, I was looking at this coin. Can you tell me what God is saying about this coin? A couple of days later, oh, that coin's going to go up, man. It's going to do really well. That is what's happening with some of these people, right? And that's how some of it comes. Their prophecy about certain coins just doesn't come out of the air, folks. Like, oh, God told me about some coin, I never heard of it before. And we know that we've seen people do that, and you saw what happened to those coins, right? They get rug pulled, or they're dead coins. So with the markets, especially cryptocurrency, because that's kind of the bigger thing right now, that's what we're kind of waiting on, and a lot of our seed money is going to come from the cryptocurrency markets. And I'm not going to get into a lot of going over different coins. You know, folks, most of us are just waiting for certain points to take profit, and it's a lot less stressful. And if you really dive into trading in general, you know, it does take time to learn. You have to do at least those very basic things, and learn those basic things so you can transfer money around, transfer crypto around when you need to. And just really quickly, folks, do not forget about Shiba Inu. That is, I believe in my heart, that is a project that's going to be tied to Shiba Inu. And once really people pick up on Shiba Inu, it's going to take off. But Maria Conwell prophesied that it's going to grow over like a tree. And I think that's one reason why people aren't investing in it, because it's not giving them that 1000x that they want. This project is connected to Satoshi, and at some point there's going to be some type of revelation. And I believe that Satoshi, and if you do your research, you can see all the different connections, right? This is a special community. This is a special token, but at least that we have planted the seeds. So when people say, oh yeah, somebody did tell me about that, I need to hurry up and get into that and tell my people to get into Shiba Inu. That's what's going to push it up. Shiba Inu, it's on Bitmark, it's on IndoX, and of course Uniswap, right? So, or you could go to Shiba Swap, and you can go to Shiba Token, and you can look at all the information that is there on YouTube. If you follow within the community, eventually you will learn everything about Shiba Inu, all its connections to Satoshi. So folks, that's it. That's all I have for this today. So you just have to hold on and just wait to see what God is going to do. And don't worry so much from the day-to-day things, and don't let these things stress you out. So folks, that is all that I have for this today. I thank you guys for listening. God bless. TC out.